My name is Sadie. I am a customer success manager here with CompanyCam. I am specifically with our payments team. I know that our payments team has been working hard to deliver an amazing product in our sales suite. So I'm super excited to be able to share this with you guys today. So welcome again to our sales suite. We're going to show you how to use proposals, how to use the price book that's attached with proposals, and then additionally how to collect payments in CompanyCam. First thing that we're going to cover is our sales suite overview. So our sales suite is a sales management system that's built into CompanyCam, and that tracks everything, every opportunity, and structures workflow from those sales visits and to building proposals, getting that deposit, accepting the payment, and then finalizing that job. So this will help you guys turn those scattered leads, forgotten follow-ups, and those exhaustive bidding cycles into that structured opportunity. Next, we're going to show you how to create a proposal. This allows you to pin it all down. This allows you to do that in minutes and not hours. I can't tell you guys how many times I've been doing demos with those that have been using, our customers that have been using our proposals tool, and they have already shaved off hours and hours of their weekly process just by using our proposals tool. And that's helpful because everything is connected to a job in CompanyCam, right? You're taking pictures, your notes, you're doing your AI walkthroughs, you're talking to your team. All of that is built within CompanyCam. Now you can take that information and build a proposal from that project and not do it from scratch. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that our proposals reference your past proposals. So the system learns how you price and how you scope. Okay. Next, we're going to show you how to collect payments. So whether that payment is tied to a proposal, it's an initial deposit, a standalone payment, or a final payment in the field using tap to pay, we have you covered with collecting payments. And then we're also going to show you how to use our project boards. Our project boards truly help you track every lead to proposal, to sale, to finished. So we'll show you how that process works as well. And then finally, we're going to show you how to set up the customer directory. You can import an existing list or build it as you go. And you'll notice that the sales suite is a system that grows with you. So if you don't have a process, or if your process is scattered everywhere, CompanyCam is a system you guys are already using and you're already trained on. Of course, if you need more training, we're happy to help you with that as well. But since you're already using CompanyCam, we can match your current workflow so that you guys can execute on every project and help get paid faster. Right. So we will jump right in here. Like I said, make sure that you are asking questions. We have a great team that is going to be answering questions, support, success, and our mid-market team is able to answer those questions. Okay. All right, so before you start collecting payments within CompanyCam, if you have not already, make sure to sign up for payments. Now, this only takes about 10 minutes or less. What you'll do is go to the Sales Hub button. You'll see this nice blue Start Setup. I'm going to jump over to my demo account here. Where can you find our payments button and our sales suite? That's going to be on the left-hand side here. So if you don't see it, just go ahead and pop that open here. So the Sales tab. Here you will see where you can start processing payments. Okay, I already have payments set up in this demo account. What you will see when you click on the payments, if you don't have it set up, again, is this nice Start Setup. Super easy, like I said, takes less than 10 minutes. What kind of information are you going to need? So you'll need your business information. Make sure you have your EIN handy. You'll also need the business representative information. So if it's the owner or an accounts payable to set that up, or financial controller, make sure that they'll have their ID with them, because Stripe, the processor, will need to scan that ID. Okay, so again, not even 10 minutes for that setup. All right. Once you do have payments set up, you will be able to see this nice overview through the Sales Hub. Now, Who can see this information? The permission roles for the Sales Hub, that overall view, that's going to be your admin and your manager. They'll be able to see all of the projects and where the payments stand. Now, don't worry, because the standard and restricted users are still able to collect payments and create proposals. They will only be able to see the ones that they've created. But for you as an admin or manager, you'll be able to see all proposals and all payment requests across the entire company. Okay. So under a payment request, again, you're able to track which project, title of the payment, the amount, and then if you hover here, it will show you this payment status. So if this has already been paid, you'll see a nice green check mark like this one, for example, and it'll show you that the payment was received. If a payment is in process, if you hover over that, it will show you when you can expect that payment in your bank account. Okay. So again, we have our overview of all payment requests. If we slide over to proposals, this also gives you that broad view of any existing proposals and what status those might be in. Okay. In just a moment, I will show you the workflow on how to create a proposal. I just wanted to give you this sneak peek of what it looks like overall. We can see, again, our title, the project, the contact for the proposal, the status, and then we can also see, again, did they make that initial deposit? Okay. Additionally, we are able to then create a price book. Now, our price book is going to be a list of labor, materials, commonly charged items, so that when you are creating a proposal, it has your specific company pricing. You can add items manually, or you can import them from an existing system. Just has to be that spreadsheet file, and you can then import your company library. If we are wanting to create a price in here, we can just simply go to add item. And it's summer, so let's say I want to do a pool filter. We can give it a description and we can say for larger pools, 800 square feet plus. Okay, and let's say that this is $3,500. And then we'll do each. So you're able to add that unit type for those items. Again, this is a library that you can reference when creating those proposals. Now that I've showed you that general scope of the sales suite at a glance, what I want to do is show you a workflow on how to create a proposal. So you can certainly create proposals and payment requests from this general hub. You can also pull up a project and create it under the sales tab under that particular project. So I'm going to choose this project here. And as we see in this project, we have our sales tab here. In this sales tab, you will see both proposals and payment requests. So we can create our very first proposal. Let's say we've already walked the job site, taken some photos. Now we need to let them know how much it's going to cost for this particular job. So I can then go to create proposal. Now, I did want to let you know this is available on mobile as well. The experience is very similar. And here in a moment, I'll show you what that looks like on mobile. So just know that your crew in the office and in the field are able to create a very quick proposal. Okay. What you'll notice here is that my basic details have already been loaded in. I have a contact that's attached to this project. And so the basic details have already been loaded in here. Next, we see our scope and timeline and our line items. Instead of typing this up manually or adding those line items one by one, what we can do instead is chat with AI. So what I'm going to do here is just kind of describe some of the work that needs to be done on the job site. So for this one, let's say we need to replace pool filter. I'm not worried about capitalizing because AI is going to fix it for me. Let's say it's a pretty large pool, so 1,000 square foot pool. And we also need to replace the lining. And then I noticed that we have cracks in 6 stone steps. Replace those as well. When you are doing a proposal on mobile, you're able to hit the microphone. So instead of typing, you can hit the microphone on mobile. And then we also want to say how long it's going to take. So we'll say we'll take about 1 week. And then we're going to say 40 man hours and a 4-man crew. So just typing in some basic details here. Obviously, the more information you give the system, the more robust your proposals are going to be. So now that we've given that information to AI, it will help build our scope and timeline. So now we have a professional scope and timeline. And then we also have our line items that have been brought in here by our price book. We also see, so a couple of things. Where did AI get the pricing from? A couple of things. Your price book. If you have information in your price book, it will find that. So we can see the pool filter was already brought in. That was the item that I had just built. And then if it's not in your price book, it will make a guesstimate or it will learn from previous proposals. So you can also, if you're getting your materials from Lowe's or Home Depot, you can type that in here to help correct the pricing or just make sure that you're getting the most accurate pricing possible. Okay. So again, pulling from your price book, making a guesstimate, or pulling it from your previous proposals. So again, it's an AI learning model. The more you use it, the more it's going to understand how you build your scope of work and how you build your pricing. Okay. So now we have all of our items here. Notice you can always go in and change any of this information here. Okay. You can always delete what might not need to be included. All right, if everything looks good, again, my scope of work looks good, and my line items look good, then I can continue on with my markup. So if these are exact costs, you can add a markup that does not show up to the customer. It just shows you on the back end. You can also add your local tax. Again, the more that you use this, AI will understand how you are creating your proposals. So it will keep that local tax the same for you. Now, if any of this information needs to be corrected or you forgot something, you can always continue chatting with AI here. Okay. Additionally, a common question we get is, I don't want my customers to see the cost of everything in each line item. So down here, we can hide the line item prices from the customer so we can give them one clear price. After this, again, the important reason that you want to make sure that your payments are set up is to give your customer payment options and getting paid faster. So from here, we can say, how much do we need for the deposit? We have an almost $30,000 job. What do we need to collect for that initial deposit? We can have a flat amount. So let's say if we need 10,000 for the initial deposit, we can type that here. Or we can say, nope, you know what? I only need 20% down. So we can type it in here or drag this. Now we can see how the customer can pay. We have our digital options, so the customer can pay by credit or debit. This is our default toggled on. This allows you to control how the customer pays and do they pay the processing fee when it comes to card payments. You can also give the option for ACH. And then additionally, you can give them the option for cash check or something else. If this is the case, if they're going to pay you by paper check for their initial deposit, you are able to mark that as paid instead of waiting for this here. All right. Next, we have our add-ons. From here, we can add some photos. So I'm going to add some project photos here. Just select a few for good measure. All right. Okay, we have our project photos added. What we can then do is set our cover photo. We can also add any files. So if you have any additional contract agreements, before and after examples from previous jobs that you've done, a full robust report, let's say you want to include more information, you can always add a CompanyCam document to that. That will open up for the customer to view. After this, we have our terms and conditions. We do have a general terms and conditions that is already pre-typed in here. If you want to use your own, you can paste in your own or change these. The good thing with that is that, again, with the AI learning model, if you paste in your own, it will carry on to each future proposal. So customize this for your first one, and it will continue to be that same way for the following ones. But you can always edit it. Okay. And then down here, we now have e-signature. So this is an option to require your customer to sign. Okay. So before we can send this off to the customer to sign, we need to sign as the contractor. So I will go ahead and sign as the contractor. Cool. So this is, now we've filled the proposal. It's basically completed. But what's really nice is that right now we're in edit mode. You can see up here at the top, we're in edit mode. You can preview it before you send it to the customer to make sure that everything looks good before you send it to them. So now in preview mode, again, you're able to see what the customer is able to see. If everything looks good here in the preview mode, we will hit the share button up at the top right. Now, one thing I want to note is when you hit the share button, it does not automatically send to the customer at this time. It does just copy a link. This gives you the opportunity to text the customer, email the customer, use whatever messaging platform that you want to use, paste that link in there, and then the customer can click on the link and then follow the proposal from there. So let's take a look at what it looks like for the customer view. All right. So as the customer, let's say I've opened up the link. Now I can see the title here. When you guys create this proposal, this right here, that's going to be your company information. So this will be your company name and address. This is going to be your company logo. We have our cover photo here. We have our customer information and address. We have our scope and timeline. We have all of our project photos that we've attached. We have our cost breakdown. Now, keep in mind, if you toggled on to hide the prices from the customer, this price column, the customer won't be able to see that. Okay, so I'll just show you a quick sneak peek of what that would look like. Let's go back to edit mode and hide those prices from the customer. I'll jump back in. Now you can see the prices are gone. Now the customer is able to see the subtotal, taxes, and the total after the taxes as well. They will also see if they do accept the proposal, in order to move forward, what is the deposit that's due? Again, that is set by you as you're building the proposal. There is a transparent fee to show the customer if they pay with their card, this is the amount that's due. Now, if you've added any documents, that will show up right in between here. The customer is able to review the terms and conditions. And then you can see where the customer can either accept and sign or decline. Now, when the status of the proposal changes, so when the customer accepts or declines, you will get a notification in CompanyCam to keep you up to date. So let's say we'll accept. And I think it's Mr. Hardy is the customer. Go ahead and sign as the customer. Accept and sign. Okay. Now that the customer has signed it, they will see the button to go ahead and make a payment. So you guys don't have to wait to be updated and then create an invoice based off of the proposal. It's already tied into one system here. So the customer is able to pay the deposit. They are also able to download the PDF for their records. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pay that deposit. Now the customer is able to see what amount is due and which method they can choose which method they want to pay. So again, if they pay with card, here's their total amount. If they pay with ACH, here's their total amount. Okay. Once this has been completed, the status in CompanyCam will change. So I'm going to pop back over to our project. All right, so now we have our proposal back in the project under the sales tab. We can see our proposal here. We can see that it's been accepted, the total amount, and the invoiced or deposit amount. We do see that we're still awaiting payment. Okay. Once the customer has accepted that proposal, this automatically creates a payment request. So again, to reiterate, you don't have to create a payment request or an invoice. It's already tied together and will automatically create, all right, since you've accepted it, this is the amount that's due. Okay. So that is creating proposals. There is another thing I wanted to show with creating proposals. So I know you can chat with AI to create that proposal, but let's say that you've already walked the job site and you've utilized our AI walkthrough. For those of you that aren't utilizing the AI walkthrough, when you have a project open, it's the blue stars at the bottom right. What this allows you to do is quickly be able to walk the job site, talk out loud, snap photos, and it compiles all of that information into one easy to read report. We will have some resources linked at the end about how to look up different resources on how to learn more about AI walkthrough. And then we also offer training as well. So again, we'll link that at the end. But let's say you're already using our AI walkthrough. I'm going to jump into this project here. What I've done at this job site is, again, snapping photos, talking out loud, and it built me a couple of reports here. So I'm going to use these reports. We've already created this report. Now we can actually use these reports to build a proposal. So I'm going to pop over to my sales tab, create proposal. Again, instead of chatting with AI here, we're going to go to this plus button. Now we can use any document, whether that's an AI walkthrough, a spreadsheet, or any other document. We can then use that document to build this proposal. So I'm going to pull in these two AI walkthroughs. Let's do both of those. Now I'm going to tell AI to build proposal based off these docs. So AI is going to review those documents and build you a scope and timeline and build those line items for you. And then once completed, again, we can share and collect funds from the customer. One thing I did not mention is the line items. If AI does not pull in the line items, or if you just wanted to add them by hand, you can pull it from your existing price book or add the items manually, especially if it's a new one. Okay, so that's how you would create that based off of your AI walkthrough. That's how to build proposals. Do we have any questions from the group?
We've had a couple questions on kind of where you can view this as a PDF and be able to send it via PDF. So if you could just show where that is, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. We get that pretty commonly. So when you are sharing this with the customer, it's built as a link so that they can interact with it. Once the customer accepts the proposal, it gives them that option to download it as a PDF. So when you're sharing it with the customer, it is a link so that they can sign, interact, and pay. Once they've accepted and signed it, that's when you can then download it as a PDF. If you, as the business owner, want to go in, let's go to that one I just accepted. I can click on this as the business owner within CompanyCam, and I can download it myself. So the customer and you can download the PDF, again, once that they've accepted the proposal. Cool. Anything else from the group?
We have one more. Is there a place or notification where we can see that signed version in a PDF?
The notification will show in the project in your notifications here. So how do you know the status? You can see that the proposal was accepted here. Then you can open it, open the proposal itself, and then download that PDF. Cool.
Thank you.
Of course. All right. So now that we've showed how to create a proposal, what I want to show you is how to collect further payments. So within this project here, let's say the customer needs to make an additional payment or a final payment. What you would do in that case is request payment. Something that's exciting that's coming here in the next couple of weeks is our invoicing tool. So at the current moment, what you'll do is create a payment request. Here soon will come an invoicing tool that will really streamline the process. You'll be able to request a payment, but not only request a payment, but charge it against an existing proposal. So it does the math for you. Do we need 50% more? Do we need the remaining amount? That invoicing tool is coming. In the meantime, over the next couple of weeks, you can do payment request number 2. Let's say we need an additional 5,000. A message for the customer, payment number, payment 2, or work on pool, internal memo, payment options. So very similar to how the payment options read in a proposal. So if I needed to, again, collect an additional 5,000 from the customer, you'll share this link and then they can make that digital payment through that payment request. Once updated again, it will be that green check mark. Okay. So again, proposals are used for that initial deposit. Payment requests are going to be everything after that. Will soon change to invoicing. All right. Okay. Another common question that we get is, can my guys collect payment in the field? I'm going to show what it looks like on mobile and show you guys how your crew is able to create proposals and collect payments on mobile. Okay. So one thing to note is that your project needs to be pulled up first. And then we'll go to our sales tab here. From here, we'll hit the plus button and create that payment request. Same for proposals. The only difference with proposals on web is on mobile, you'll have AI down at the bottom here to be able to chat with it using your microphone. And then with payment requests, you're able to collect payment using tap to pay. So again, project needs to be open first, and then we'll go to our sales button here. All right, jumping back to our project here. Do we have any questions about our payment processing?
Nothing crazy that we're seeing for payments. We did have one just come in about like a change order, change request. So if you just want to mention that payments would be a great place for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you're creating those change orders with our new invoicing tool that's coming up soon, you can also create a document using our pages. So you can even have like an AI report and create that there. But our payments are a perfect place to be able to collect a very quick payment. So if there is a change order currently, what you'll do is do a payment request or create a proposal. But here in the next couple of weeks, we'll have an invoicing tool to be able to add more of that. Like if we need to increase the proposed amount, you'll be able to do that with our invoicing tool. Again, in a couple of weeks, it'll come out. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on to our project boards. So yes, we have our proposals. Yes, we have our payment requests. How do we help track the process of something that's a lead, something that has had a proposal sent? What we can see on this project is we have our initial labels for this job. We see that it is a lead. So I'm going to go back to my main page here. To the right of your projects, what you'll see is a nice plus button. These are going to be our project boards. What this allows us to do is build boards based on, is this my sales team? Is this my service team? Or you can have one board tracking every single project through the life of that project. So for example, we have our sales board. This is tracking our leads, proposals sent, scheduled, active. So at a glance, you can see where everything is standing. Now, with this project here, I have sent a proposal, so I can either change the label in that project, or I could just slide this over in this project board. Now, once we go into this project, you'll see that it changes to proposal sent. Okay. How do you create a board? Again, when you hit that plus sign, you're able to determine which tags or labels that you have on the projects and really be able to organize that yourself. Here's another example of how they are organizing this. Again, the labels are attached to that board. Your settings are going to be over here in the manage board, so you can set which labels and in which order. Same for the sales. You get to dictate which labels are being used to help with that. Okay. So again, tracking that through the process, through project boards as well. Okay. One more thing that I wanted to cover is our customers. So with our customers, you're able to now create multiple customers under one project. You can also create this directory, whether it is from scratch or importing it from an existing system. You're able to then pull your customers in. From here, what I can show you an example of one of my customers here. So there's a condo unit that has multiple projects going on. So now we can have one contact as the main and then multiple contacts underneath, just to show you on what that looks like. And you can have them attached to multiple projects. So I clicked on this business name. It shows me the contacts that I have, any notes, and then the projects that are associated with that customer. If I jump into this project here, I already had it loaded in here, but what you would do is just edit the customer information. And then you can add an additional contact. So good thing is if I'm trying to add Susan Smith, I can add her here. Let's get rid of that. I'm just going to start from scratch here. We'll delete, remove. I'll show you what that workflow looks like. Okay. Now we can edit the customer. Now let's say if I know it belongs to PBA condos, I can then load in those customers. Or if I'm looking for Bill Hardy, he will come up with here as well. Now we can load in those contacts. So again, your customer directory, you can add them, import them here, and then that just makes it faster to add the contact details. And then it will automatically load in the contact details in that proposal. Okay. All right, so we've covered how to create a proposal, how to sign up for payments, how to create and collect a payment request. We've also covered how to create this project board to keep you guys more organized on those leads to project, as well as our customer hub. Wanted to check in to see what kind of questions we got.
Perfect timing. There is two different questions I want to go over. The first one being, can you just go over the fees for payments again?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Great news is that there is no onboarding fees. There are no monthly fees. So there is no disadvantage of signing up for it. And let's say you don't use it till the end of the month, we're good there. Our processing fees are listed as our tap to pay. So if the customer is present, tap to pay is 2.5% plus 30 cents. Online, so if they're completing that payment online or completing that proposal payment, it's 3% plus 30 cents. Now, keep in mind with card transactions, you can pass that fee off to your customer. So if they owe you $15,000 and they want to use their card, they can pay the fee, you'll get your $15,000. ACH is only 1%. So if the customer chooses bank transfer, it's 1%, but it caps out at $10. So if they owe you $150,000, you're going to get that $150,000 minus $10. So $10 is the cap on that. So great option for those higher costing jobs, and then card for convenience. Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Next thing we have is, can you go back to the customer input information screen just so we can see that again?
Sure.
Perfect.
So here is the list as the customer's hub, which you can add your customers here. So we can add a customer, give their details, and then add a company and address. So you can add multiple points of contact and tie it all together with a company, address, add those notes. You can even add a source of where the customer came from. Okay. If, let's see if this comes up. There we go. If we're typing in a name that already exists, it will recommend that one there. And then as you save that new customer, it just makes it faster from when you're in the project view and you open up a project, your customer panel, if you don't see it, might be hiding under this sidebar here. And then we can hit the edit button and add those customers. Cool.
Perfect.
What
That's all
else
we
do we
have.
have? That's all
That's
we
all
got?
we have on our end. Yep.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys joining me today. I did want to mention that our sales suite is in early access, so there is no cost to have access to our sales suite. As far as the pricing for what is the pricing for the sales suite, that has not been communicated, but we will communicate that with you. So it has not been determined yet, but the price we will let you know at least 30 days before that changes. Okay, so now is the perfect opportunity to test out our sales tool. Let us know. Again, ask as many questions as you'd like. Would love to hear your feedback as well. This is constantly evolving, and we're always taking your feedback to make this a better product. Okay, so just wanted to skip on to our resources. We have a ton of resources. You can chat with support. You can email them at support@companycam.com. We do have a live in-house team, our support team we work directly with. You can also have your team learn in Spanish. We have our resources here as well. We also have our how-to articles and our resource page with videos. So if anything that you guys are looking for, you can go to our resource page and be able to look up what you're looking for, search for what you're looking for. And then finally, we have personalized training. Myself and Joe are here to help with proposals and payments. So if you guys ever get stuck with anything, we will send you an email and you guys can grab a time on our calendar. And then we do have our support team for all other features.